Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today, Christian Love. Welcome back, Christian. We just heard Touchdown in New Amsterdam, and right now we are listening to Thrown Out. It's off of the Only Alibis album. Again, go pick that up on, you can get it on Spotify or anywhere you get buy music. And also Christian's website, christianloveofficial.org. Hey, welcome back, Christian.
Thanks for having me.
What a great place to do an interview. If you're watching the YouTube interview here, Christian is in the Shoreline Park. Don't worry, nobody will find you. You'll be long gone by the time they hear this. But Christian's at Shoreline Park in Santa Barbara, California, and you got the ocean about 20 feet away from him.
So
So
beautiful here. Yeah. What a great day.
beautiful. So you said you set up the song on the way out. The touchdown in New Amsterdam was basically you're hungover, you're landing, and what was it? What'd you say about the girl?
Oh, you're
Thinking
just kind of daydreaming about your lady,
thinking about the
thinking of,
girl.
yeah.
So thrown out. Have you been thrown out of a restaurant? Is
I
this a
have
true story?
I have been thrown out of the restaurant, but I kind of wrote the song just hoping that everyone could relate to the subject of basically being out to eat late with your lady and you get into this big argument and stuff starts to go down, but as we get older, we can kind of appreciate the arguments that we've had with our loved ones. So I don't know, in a way, it's kind of reminiscent.
Yeah, that must be a cool thing about writing and creating music that you can capture some of these feelings and these times in your catalog in your songs, and they're timeless and they become not only relatable to the listener, but also timeless for you as almost a music photo
Yeah,
book in a way.
yeah, like a stamp of that,
Yeah,
that era. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
it's a good song. Good song. All these again, all everything off of Only Alibis. I really love this album, and I'd strongly recommend if you don't have it in your library of great music, add it to your library or your playlist. So Christian Love is with us here today, and in if I've got the dates right here, in about 2005, you joined the touring Beach Boys band.
That's it.
Yeah, and you grew up, you say you grew up going to the shows, going to your dad's shows. Dad is Mike Love of the Beach Boys. Do you remember, can you recall that when you really remember being at a concert,
Yeah.
feelings that what was what were you feeling? What were you seeing? Can you describe it for us?
It's
How
kind
did it
of
affect you?
hysteria, I guess is the best way to describe it, and feeling the hysteria and the joy, the excitement. And I just remember being on the side of the stage and watching Carl sing, and I was like, wow, what an angelic voice. I would just look at him and go, wow, this guy's great. And so when I was 5 years old, my dad pulled me up on stage to announce Surfer Girl. And it was the most nerve-wracking situation, nerve-wracking experience I think I've ever had. It was because there was probably, I'm going to say like 30,000 people out there. And he pulls me up to announce the song. And I'm like, wow, this is what stage fright feels like.
So you could, from your perspective, all you see is 30,000 faces out in front of you, and they're all screaming and shouting. Does
Exactly.
it, that was 5 years old?
Yeah, I was 5 years old, I think.
Do you still get that feeling, that thrill, and that rush when you're on stage and you're in a stadium like that, and you've got all these Beach Boys fans in front of you, or fans of yours? Does it still feel as powerful?
Definitely some adrenaline at times. We got a chance to play in front of some pretty big crowds this last summer. I don't know if the documentary ramped things up, but we played some crowds, anywhere between 30 and I don't know, like 10 and 30, 40,000 people. So it's like, wow. I mean, this is a 60s band and it's still going strong, with the turnouts and the festivals. It's really cool. So yeah, when we play in front of that many people, it's definitely a huge rush.
So when you joined in 2005, that must have been a great honor, but also a big decision.
Yeah.
Is there was there any initiation from the band for you? Is there
I think half pay was probably.
half pay? That's there. Hey, congratulations. You get half of it.
Yeah.
Half pay.
Yeah, and I think at first I was playing the acoustic guitar, um, and then eventually there were some changes that happened in the band, and I ended up moving to rhythm guitar, electric, and yeah, I think the initiation was probably, oh, here, sing the line that comes in on Kokomo, you know, and don't mess
Mhm.
it up.
Yeah, and don't mess it up. No pressure. There's
Yeah,
30,000 people watching.
I remember that was pretty nerve-wracking in itself the first time I did that.
And I imagine that's one of those songs that everybody sings back with you, right?
Yeah, I mean, what a great song, and just so universal, you know.
Yes.
No matter where you go, people are singing along and they love that song, so it's great.
I mean, I don't think there's a better song that I can think of that instantly puts you in that frame of mind of, hey, let's have a margarita, or
Yeah,
let me go put my feet in the sand and just,
cocktails in the sand, that's it.
yep, and
Yeah.
enjoy life. You know, it brings it out. Does the band do anything? Are there any superstitions before you guys go on? Or do you have any superstitions or things that you have to have the certain pick or a certain guitar strap? Or I mean, is there anything like that that you consider when you go on stage? Is there
Yeah, no, I think the most important thing for me is to have a cup of coffee to get
Yeah.
that energy up. But one thing we do pretty much every night, I get together with my dad and we do vocal warm-ups before the show. So we do that pretty religiously these days. It's usually a half an hour before the show just to warm up the voice.
What's that like working with your dad after 20 years now? Going on 20 years, right?
Going on 20
The Beach
years,
Boys.
yeah.
Working with family sometimes, I know for me anyway, is challenging, and a lot of people, but for you, it's got to also be so rewarding to be able to look over at your dad and be doing that with him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing I've learned the most is how to be consistent and work the crowd every single night. And it's just amazing. It's just like the consistency, and, doesn't matter if the crowd is upbeat or if the crowd is a little, more lackadaisical. He just steps it up and does it. So I
Brings
think,
it.
yeah, that's been a great learning experience for me. And of course, yeah, a joy to play next to my dad all these years.
But you guys, this just is to me, it's an incredible number if I think about this and what for a band of your size, for a band of your longevity, for the band that has such a fan base and following. And do you feel like it's growing and growing? Do you see it growing? It doesn't feel like it's slowing at all. To me, it feels like there's more and more um, desire to see a Beach Boys show or to have a.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's trickling down to the younger generations, and it is growing. It's definitely growing because I feel like uh, the size of crowds that we played to this last summer was definitely larger than the year before. So I think the documentary and younger people just appreciating the timeless music through their parents and grandparents. And I just think it's going to get passed on pretty good.
Yeah. Tell us about the documentaries where we can find it and that you've mentioned. Because
Oh,
I know there's
shoot.
been a couple that came out, but there's one that
Yeah.
guys are involved in, right? That you
Disney Plus, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll look
Yeah.
it up at the break here. I should have had that in front of me. Um, well, I've talked about it with other guests on the show, and with Al Jardine was on a few weeks back on his birthday, and he talked about it as well. So I'll pull that
Yeah.
up so I can give out where you can find it. So 110 days a year,
Yeah.
you're on the road just with the Beach Boys. That doesn't include your solo career.
Yeah.
110 to 10 days a year. Describe that intensity of touring at that pace. How do you manage the grind? Health wise,
Yeah.
mentally, what do you go through and how do you manage that?
I think the key for me is A, to not drink alcohol and drink lots of water, get plenty of sleep, try to get enough exercise. That's not always easy to do when you're
Yeah.
jumping around like that. But we have our tour bus and it's it's a nice bus. We can go to sleep if we want, or we can hang out in the front lounge and socialize. But yeah, I think the main thing is, yeah, just trying to stay consistent and not stay up late or drink too much, or that's
Which
good.
which goes against being a rock star totally, doesn't it? At least
Totally. Yeah,
the
yeah.
stigma,
The myth
the
that
myth.
we're all up partying. Maybe some of the guys do, but I think for me, I can sing more consistently if I don't. So that's what I do.
It's a and it's a trend I think in a lot of different businesses. And the other one that shocked me is the bartenders. I'm in the hospitality business as well, and bartenders don't drink anymore. Like, and
Yeah.
chefs don't drink anymore. And I actually really like that trend because it was always I think for many, many years, everybody did everything in excess, and you can really, at some point in your life, it's probably maturity, but you start to look and say, I want to feel better. I want to actually enjoy this moment, and
Yeah.
it's refreshing to hear that that's part of your routine.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's as much as it is fun to party and stuff like that, you can burn the candle out pretty fast.
yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of nice to have some balance there.
What do you love the most about being called a beach boy or being a beach boy?
Um, that is a good question. I think being able to pass on the legacy, to carry on the tradition, I guess is the right way to say it. I
Is
think,
there? Mhm.
yeah, I think it's an honor to be able to do that, and I really love to sing some of the songs, and it's uh, it's a great opportunity for me to learn how to perform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Do you still say, how can you still say that after 20 years just on the Beach Boys stage, but also you had another 20 years on as a solo artist developing that and you still feel
yeah,
like there's things to learn about
I
performing?
still. Well, here's the yeah. Well, the thing is that my dad is the front man of the Beach Boys, so he's the one that's. The crowd. So we just have to jump around and be our excited selves. Um, so it's different when I finally get a chance to play with my band. I have to sort of relearn how to work the crowd, talk to the
Yeah.
crowd.
Because now you're the front man.
Now I'm the front man. Yeah. So it's more time spent being the backup guy than it is being the front guy in my band. So
What makes a great front man, in your opinion?
that's a good question. I think being a little edgy, maybe a little cocky at times. I think, um, or just confident, just being confident, and the crowd picks up on that. If you're confident, they feed off of it. I guess that's when I think of all the great
Yeah.
frontmen, Bono or Sting, or I mean, there's so many of them, but
And that confidence and energy.
yeah, they all
they,
just come out. They know exactly what they're going to do and how they're going to deliver it, and having that is something that not everyone has.
Do you have a favorite going between your performances, your band, your solo work, and going to the Beach Boys? Do you have there are differences, right? One you get
Yeah,
to let your dad be the front man and follow and just have some fun and rile up the crowd, but and play and sing. But then you've got that other hat you wear where you're Christian love and they're there to see you and your band, your members. Is there one that you like or do you like them both equally?
yeah. I'd have to say I prefer to play my own music. My own
Mhm.
original music. So
Well,
yeah, I feel,
Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry,
feel like
Christian.
I feel like I've taken a while, taken a long time to develop my craft as an artist. And it's, finally starting to come around, developing a style and a sound, I guess. So
You do have a distinct sound as a fan and a listener. You know, and I'm excited to see where you go with your music. It really feels developed and good. I mean, it's really fun to listen to. It's a great writing, great music. We're going to actually hear one of my favorites here, "So Tightly." Christian Love, Nate Rubin. It's off the Living for Today album, and we're going to hear that right now. Do you want to set that up for us, Christian?
yeah, me and Nate became friends. He reached out to me on Instagram, I think, and he was like, "Oh, I think it would be really cool to collaborate with you because I think our styles would be complementary." And it turned out to be right. I have some 80s influences, some 90s influences. He's got some influences dating back into the 60s, and just the combination of influences turned out to be a really good starting point for us. And that was our first song that we created was So Tightly.
Okay, well, here it is. "So Tightly." Christian Love and Nate Rubin, Living for Today album. We'll be right back.